how do we convey a sense of urgency to the people we share the gospel with? When we're thinking about urgency in gospel message responses, we must think about what is the gospel. It is the message that delivers a gift to us, so that if we believe in it, it changes our present and our future. Both present and future go into the urgency of response. I mean, let's think for a moment. How has the gospel changed our present? Well, when we believe in it, we are brought into the family of God. Our identity is changed in a way that's based on Jesus instead of based on anything else. It gives us access to the one who made us, who designed us for himself. It gives us access to the source of true joy. But what happens for a lot of us, what happens to me, is what one evangelism scholar calls analysis paralysis. You see, I'm thinking of a time when I was at a Starbucks and I was so in my head. I was so concentrating on, I have to get these words exactly right. I have to be so precise. And as I'm aiming for precision, I'm starting to analyze everything I am saying, and I'm starting to freeze up on something that I know so well. And when I'm so focused on the precise wording, the right lingo, the right phrasing, what's happening is, in that moment of critical thinking, my passion for it is going down. I'm more focused on getting it right than the beauty of what it actually is. And when I was thinking about this at Starbucks, this guy actually said something to the effect of, but are you excited about it? Because what he was seeing is my analysis paralysis that didn't look anything like excitement. It looked like a chore. So we need to think to ourselves, what in us, as we're giving the gospel message, what in us spurs passion for who God is? Because this makes the difference in us selling something and us sharing something. So what is it in your life that when you reflect on it, when you do it, when you read it, whatever it is, spurs up in you affections for the Lord, spurs up in you passion for who He is and what He has done? Spend time to yourself enjoying those things and thanking God for these things to kind of kindle the fire in your heart. So that when you do have the opportunity to share with your friend, it's not so much memorized phrases, it's not so much a focus on precise wording, but it is sharing something that your heart burns for, that you love. Because joy is contagious. Joy is urgent. Joy is, hey, I want some of that. And I know it's hard because I'm as guilty as anyone else of getting in my head and not relaying what my heart is saying. So our first way to show urgency in the gospel message is to relay the passion that we have. The second way looks towards the future. And in looks toward the future, what I mean by that is eternity itself. What I mean by that is a conversation on heaven and hell. Because we all know that we're not promised tomorrow. We don't know how many days, how many hours or minutes we have left in our life. And neither do the people that we're talking to. They might not want to think about death because maybe they're young and think, oh, that is decades and decades away. I have so long to figure that out. When we all know that could be naive. And I know conversations about death and hell, I mean, there's not a bigger bummer than that. And I also know there have been a lot of pastors, a lot of well-meaning people who have used conversations about death and hell in more of a manipulative way to stoke fear instead of to drive decisions. We're not trying to manipulate anyone. And it's easy to dog on those who talk about hell a lot. But let us remember, there is no one in the New Testament that spoke about hell as much as Jesus did. He brought it up a lot. He also brought up details and specifics about it. So if Jesus regularly incorporated hell when he would share with other people, when he would teach people, then that seems like a good model for us to do as well. But if we're using Jesus as our model for communicating urgency of response, then we got to recognize that when he spoke of hell, he was not trying to manipulate. He was caring for the people he was talking to well. He cared about them enough to tell them the whole truth. Now, people can tell if you care about them or not. They can tell if you are sharing out of love or if you're being manipulative. So let's be sure, let's check our hearts to make sure that we are sharing in a way that shows compassion, that shows we care. So there are two ways of trying to inspire the need of urgency in response to the gospel. Are one, focusing on the gift of the gospel in the present, one that we have already been changed by, that has provoked in us passion and joy, something they actually want. And the second one is out of love and care for them, communicating that we're not promised tomorrow, and that everyone will go to either heaven or hell and spend eternity there. So that means eternity could start tomorrow. Eternity could start before this video is even over with. So now is the time to reflect. Who is Jesus? What has he done? Why does it matter to me?